Hi, this is Giovanni Simpson and EDL 591-20, Social Justice Project Activity, Module 1, discussion. I was asked to discuss my personal definition and philosophy of social justice. And so first of all, I'd like to say my personal philosophy and definition of social justice. I would like to use some information that I got. One thing I examined was it seems almost default that everyone feels that social justice and equality and justice are primarily the same, and inequality and injustice are primarily the same. And I pretty much do accept that, but there are other aspects of social injustice or injustice or social justice. And I want to use some of the information that I read, some of the information I saw in the video to really kind of more elaborate on my view of social justice. And where I want to start is the information said that social diversity means differences and its respects. I feel like that let's take America for example. Social diversity, there's an aspect to that has to relate to social justice, but they are very different. I do agree, because our country has been diverse since the very beginning of this country. I mean, even on the Mayflower, there was an African American that was a navigator. So there's been American Indian, Native Americans. There have been whites of English descent. There have been Africans. There's been the French. There's been the Spanish in America since the very beginning. There was a diversity, but there was no honor for that diversity. There was no respect. And I think that it's one thing to be diverse, but that doesn't mean that there will be justice in that diversity. There must be an honor for the different aspects that make us diverse. And now social justice. And the video Social Justice and Its Critics was very enlightening to me because it brought these points to, that in the area of doing more for the poor and how we do that. We're faced with that in our society with welfare and the opposition to it. I'm going to use that to bring out some points of my feelings on social justice. And they said do more politically, and people are against it for 3 reasons. I'm going to talk about the third. The first one was that it's unrealizable to really make it equal economically for everyone. It never happens. The more you do for people, the less they really do for themselves. Or number 2, it infringes on the rights of others. If we give from the rich and give, the Robin Hood principle, if we take from the rich and give to the poor, well, we've just robbed from the rich. So you can't do it without infringing on the rights of other people. And then thirdly, this is what I want to elaborate on, that it's conceptually confused. And I'll talk about this idea of social justice and equality is difficult to come about in our society because it's a concept that is easily confused, it's conceptually confused. Because and these are the reasons that I put down. Who defines what's lawful? Moral, spiritual, pure, natural, unnatural. In essence, who gets to define what's good and bad? What's just and unjust? Do the masses get to decide that? Do the elite? Do the educated? Do the religious? Do the religious with power? And that's 2 different groups. Okay? We've seen that happen in England that made them come over to America. Does the government? Do the scriptures get to decide just and unjust? What scriptures? All right. What interpretation of scriptures? Whose scriptures? And then there are more groups that cloud the issue enough to make it conceptually confusing in order to implement social justice. And so I know I'm supposed to have a 5 to 7 minute video, but mine won't upload past 5, so I'm going to cut it off in a minute and then continue in another one. But should we pick one person to decide? social justice, what's just and unjust, or should there be informed committees like what our government is supposed to be, represented of the people, by the people, for the people? And I like what was said in the writing. It said, our challenge is to appreciate social diversity while working to dismantle social inequality, injustice. But who defines those things? And I want to elaborate on that more in the second half of this video, and then deal with my second question.